There we go. Now we're recording. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for showing up this morning. I appreciate it. We got some fun stuff today. Actually, we've got quite a bit that is packed in. I think I say that just about every week, and I mean it just about every week. We've got a lot today. So to jump right in, first of all, just want to make a quick and warm welcome to the newest member of our broker team in the Burien office. T Ho is a new agent of ours. She had been in the business before. Jumped out for a little while and is back in and is Vietnamese speaking. So if you've got clients or something pops up where you need some help in that area, we have a new resource in T. So anyway, welcome to the team, T. We've got Susie McGill and Morgan Patton here with our RELO team, and we're going to get to them in a little bit. So excited to have them on. Thank you, ladies, for joining us this morning. Let's talk about convention real quick. We've got open convention seating in our offices. Both Burien and West Seattle will be open next week for the general sessions and for the John Legend concert. General sessions are at 10 a.m. It's just an hour and a half. It's not long. So join us at 10 a.m. in the office, socially distanced with masks. We've got things spaced out. And so if you're interested in doing that, we would love to have you. Let your OA know today, please. We're trying to get head counts so that we know how many people want to get in and we can get things set and arranged appropriately. But should be some fun, and I think it would be neat to kind of do it together. So that's Monday morning and Tuesday morning, and then John Legend is in the afternoon at 3:30 on Tuesday. That concert's just about 45 minutes. It'll be fun. We'll just play it in the open spaces. And if you did donate an additional $30 to be a part of the question and answer session afterwards, cool. You can jump on that after then. Things that you need to know about convention. All right. First of all, there was an email that went out yesterday. I know you all read it front to back, but in case you didn't, might not have. I'm going to let you know. There's a few things to know. One, your event portal login is going to arrive this week. Don't know when, so look for an email on that, and it'll allow you to get into the portal that will help you navigate next week as the convention goes live. The recommendation is to log on early. If there's any issues, technical difficulties, whatever, don't try to log in right at 10 o'clock if you're not watching live with us in person. Make sure that you are logging in ahead of time so that things are up and running and you're not having any issues. Also, the university sessions, there is a lot of classes that you can take. Those sessions are throughout the midday and afternoon on Mondays and Tuesdays. On the Monday and Tuesday, but also will be up and available until April 23rd. So you can catch those at other times. We will very likely take a couple that we think might have the best or the biggest impact and maybe show them live in the offices, or we may do a Zoom meeting or something on them to allow us to watch the course and then also dialogue and talk about best uses and things like that. So look for that in the coming month as we kind of utilize some of those classes. Let's see. General sessions, I said Monday mornings 10 a.m., Monday and Tuesday 10 a.m. There is going to be a big announcement. I believe it'll be in the Monday session, general session from 10 a.m. to 11:30 about a new feature that is coming our way that is going to be pretty sweet. That Berkshire Hathaway, the mother company, has put together. Russ is shaking his head. Yes, Russ knows about this. Yes, it's a secret. No, you don't get to know before next Monday. But I'm telling you right now, there are some things that should be a big, or that will be a big value to you and your business and how you kind of go forward with different ideas and things that you want to do. There's going to be all kinds of new resources for you right at your fingertips. So very, very cool. Also, let's see, the virtual exhibit will, the exhibitors hall will still be there. So you'll be able to check out the vendors virtually. How that's going to look, I don't know. You'll have to check it out in your portal that you get. There is a make a connection feature. So there is an option to connect with other agents in the network and do some networking and to maybe work some business or things of that nature. Recharge Lounge, if you've been to the convention, you've seen that before. It's going to obviously be virtual. So they got all kinds of fun stuff. So check that out. And then the John Legend concert on Tuesday afternoon. So that's it with convention. If you've got questions, reach out, give me a call, shoot me an email. Love to help with questions on that. But plan to participate. Set the time aside. It's worth your time, guaranteed. All right, forms. How are the new forms going? We doing good? I know we're doing good. I'm getting all kinds of questions, and they're very good questions. Some of them are repetitive, which is awesome because it means that a lot of you are having the same situations come up, and we're able to work through it in the same and consistent way, which is cool. So, top topic in the last week, I think, is going to go to, or at least the one that I want to address today and highlight, is going to be that the idea of the 22A, the financing contingency, and how to waive financing. So just really briefly, guys, stick with me. If you want to waive your financing, if you're a buyer's agent, you want to waive your financing, we've talked about this, right? How on the form 22A, you can select option B now, and you can select the days as 0. So you're saying, hey, in effect, you're waiving your financing contingency. Now, remember, under there at the very bottom, there's a line that says that a waiver of the financing contingency will or will not waive your appraisal portion of the contingency, right? And the default now is will. So if you want to waive that as well, you got to make sure to check the box that says will not. But ultimately, that's a way for you as a buyer's agent to be able to have proof in your file and be able to show if anything were to happen in the future where the buyer said, hey, I didn't know I was waiving my financing. Clearly, I'm getting a loan. I think it's contingent on the loan. Well, no, we went through this, we talked about it, and you signed off on waiving your financing contingency, putting it as 0 days. Now, the reason that I bring this up, though, is that if you're on the buyer's, or I'm sorry, if you're on the listing side of this and you have a listing agent that is, or you're the listing agent and you've got a buyer that is making the offer to you and they're waiving financing, but they're doing it just simply by omitting the form 22A, there just is no financing addendum. That's fine, totally acceptable. You don't have to make any changes. You don't have to counter back. You don't have to do anything with that. Again, they may not have that idea or that strategy as a way to waive your financing. Somebody's not on mute. I'm going to real quick mute you. There we go. So at any rate, just something to note. Also, just make sure as we're going through these new contracts, make sure to be communicative. Please talk with the other agent. Tell them what the intent is of what you're doing. Right? Tell them this is what I'm doing. This is the offer. These are the forms I'm using. This is why, right? Or ask them if you're the listing agent, if the buyer's sitting in, ask and be communicative about what's going on. The more that we communicate, the better chance that we have to avoid conflict and issues later on these forms. You guys are doing awesome. I am super, super stoked with how this has gone so far. So keep it up and don't hesitate. Call me or Russ or Nolani with questions anytime. We're happy to help. Last bullet point item that I want to hit, quick hit item, just has to do with showings and what you're allowed to do or not do. Something came up this morning where there was an agent that showed a property and the buyer wanted to see in the crawl space and the attic, and they went ahead and did that. Well, the seller was on had the house video cameras on in the home, security cameras, and we're watching them do that, and we're pretty upset that they went in the attic and in the crawl space. And the question came up of, well, what can you do and what can't you do in a showing, right? I mean, it's not traditional to go in a crawl space during a general showing. However, just want to relay in connection with chatting with the MLS and double checking that there's no rules specific to that. In fact, the MLS does say that you as a buyer, as you do your walkthrough viewing, as your showings, you do have the right to look in the crawl space, to peek your head in there, and even potentially go in there. You have the right to go in the attic. If there's a pull-down ladder, that's part of the house. It's something that you have the opportunity and the ability to view. Yes, for sure, we have a 35P to do a pre-inspection. No, you should never be up on a roof. There's liability and legal issues with that, right? No, I wouldn't be bringing a ladder into the house to check the attic, right? Again, these are things that aren't generally going to happen in most of your showings, but I just want to relay, it's good information to know that, yes, in fact, there is nothing keeping a buyer from poking his head in the attic or her head in the attic or looking in the crawl space while viewing the property. So just point of information. All right, real quick, let's hit some stats. Active listings on the MLS, slightly down again. Most of our regions are pretty similar, except West Seattle bumped up a good 20% on inventory last week. So that's good to see some good West Seattle numbers coming in. The rest are about across the board with Burien and further south about what they've been the last 5-6 weeks. We know that, well, first of all, we got pending stats up. So number of active listings in the MLS slightly down. Pending stats are way up. Remember, last year, this time we were 1 week away from the lockdown. We're literally 1 week from a year of having the state lockdown. And so remember, this time last year, people are a little bit skeptical, not sure what's going on. So we saw those pending numbers. While the listing numbers were still solid, the pending numbers started to slide, and we'll continue to see those slide. While this year, the pending numbers are going to continue to increase. So even though inventory numbers are lower, our pendants are up, which is great news. The solds are down. Again, that has to do with the inventory, the lack of inventory that we've had over the last month or so in comparison to the year before, but we can expect that also to rise. The question is going to be, can we maintain it through the more traditionally slow periods of the year that were hot last year and fast last year because COVID kind of pushed the market back? Will we see the market just kind of continue a steady increase or at a steady pace throughout the entire year, kind of like it was last year? Hope so, and believe that it very probably could be. Again, with interest rates still low, inventory low, I think we'll see a good steady market all the way through. Median home prices is the last thing that I'll touch on, and it's the same old story. Friends, it is the same story. We're way up from last year, about $100,000 in median home price across the MLS. So all positive there in terms of increases and going in the right direction, cost and value and sales. Gosh, we're in a good industry, my friends. We are in a good industry. Okay, calendar. We got 4 quick items that I want to share with you. One, you've gotten an email on this from me, I think yesterday, and or from Jody, if you're in Burien, about the appraisal class tomorrow. Super cool opportunity, right? No, not tomorrow, Thursday. Thursday, from 1 to 2:30, the appraisal class with Neil Hara, the appraisal manager with Equity, goodness gracious, with Prosperity. Go check for the invite. Go register. You got to register for that one, okay? And make sure to get on there. That's opened up to a lot of folks in our regions, both Oregon and Washington. It's going to be a great crowd. It's going to be a lot of good information and an opportunity to ask an appraiser questions, well, an appraisal manager questions about appraisals. I think it'll be crazy informative. I will be there. You should be also. Please make sure to check that out. Convention again, remember, next Monday and Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, the 24th, we've got Janet, who's going to be helping you with the Google My Business setup. If you don't know how to get in contact with Janet, that's okay. Check your email for the invite for that and show up. If you can't find the invite, ask Maria or one of your OAs in Burien. We'd be happy to help and get you that link. Last thing to touch on, I know I mentioned it last week, every month that has a 5th Tuesday, so 4 times this year, we're bringing back Zoom Room. And Russ Lassard will be taking that class or that workshop. It'll happen the same time as the sales meeting, 11 o'clock on Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month, so in 2 weeks from today. And the first one is on open house strategies. We've got several brokers from our West Seattle and our Burien office that are going to be sharing things that they do. Now, if you feel like, hey, I do a pretty good open house, or hey, I don't really need to know so much about open houses, I will recommend that you come because, first of all, if you are good at them, you will still learn from what other people do. Second of all, if you feel like you're good in open houses, but you think back and you go, well, gosh, I think I've only made 1 or 2 sales in the last few years doing open houses, then you want to come check it out. These are people that are pulling clients consistently from their open houses, and a super big value to hear what they're doing and be able to ask questions and get involved with that conversation. All right, with that, I know we're breezing through it pretty quick because we've got 2 different big topics that we want to cover today. But before we do that, Mark and Kara, I'm not sure who's speaking this morning, but I know I saw Mark on. What's going on?
Good morning, everybody. Is Kara on too? Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and get going with this. Kara obviously bust in, and especially when we start talking about the new FHA zero down loan program here. But before that, let's talk about interest rates. Currently, this morning, our rates for a conventional $600,000 purchase, 10% down, middle credit score 760 is at 3.25%. FHA today for the same loan is at 3.125. and VA's at 3%. So everybody, you can see these rates have now, all of them basically gotten up to 3% and slightly over, but those are still fantastic rates. I believe if you haven't already received this, you're going to receive a flyer from Kara and I today about a new program that we kind of briefly went over last week called FHA Zero Down Program. Just to give you some information, we're only one of 5 lenders throughout the country that has this program available, and it's going to be with us for the foreseeable future, and no other lenders besides those 5, who I'm not sure who they are. But the program is basically fantastic. Just a few bullet points on it. It really isn't a zero down, but what you can do is you get a second mortgage for a fixed rate FHA loan for 3.5%, which is the minimum down payment, or 5% down payment. And that second mortgage, there's no payments required on it. And after 5 years, it's forgiven and it does not need to be paid back. The borrowers do not have to be first-time buyers. There's no income or geographical restrictions for this program. So if anyone has clients that are, don't have the money for a down payment, but have, fairly decent credit and a good income, here's a program where they could actually purchase a home. Just to let everyone know, interest rates on these are going to be a little bit higher. That's how we can do the program. So if you remember what I said earlier, FHA rates today are at 3.125. I believe with the 3.5% down payment, we're at about 3.5% today for that loan. And if you go with the 5% second, I think the rate's like at 4.5%. So to me, the minimum down payment requirement on all FHA loans is 3.5%. I would assume most everyone would go with the 3.5% down payment. I just saw a note pop up from someone asking, what is the minimum income needed? Well, Michael, there's no minimum income. They just have to qualify for an FHA loan, and that means their income and their income ratios, including all of their monthly installment and revolving debts, cannot exceed about 50% of their gross determined monthly income. So, Kara, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I can add. So,
good.
Minimum credit score is 640. Anything over that would technically qualify for this program. Again, the 50% DTI, no income limits, no geographical location limits. You can combine this with their own down payment as well to get them potentially a higher purchase price. If the borrower has additional property, they still qualify. So if they're moving from out of state and aren't selling their property, they still qualify for this program as well. It's lower interest rates than the down payment assistance program, which I like as well. So the Washington bond program, it's better interest rates than those currently. Some other information that I've found out is, I just lost my train of thought. Dang it, you guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a great program. I ran pretty much almost all of my Washington bond. I'm still working on them yesterday through this program, and they've all became approved. Oh, it is forgiven 20% year over year, up to 5 years, fully forgiven. So they have to keep it as their primary residence for the 5 years. So after the first year, that down payment is forgiven at 20%. Second year, another 20%. Third year, another 20%, up to 5 years. So after the 5 years is when it's fully forgiven, as long as they keep it as their primary residence. So those are, again, the main key points. We're super excited about this program, and I think it's going to benefit a lot of buyers.
I agree.
This is crazy. So we're getting people for the houses with zero down and that 3.5%. They're ultimately they're keeping that. It's a gift after 5 years.
Yes,
exactly.
It's forgiven. But if they sell the house, for example, within that 5-year period, they're going to owe whatever balance remains after the 20% for each year is forgiven. So that would be part of
In
their
all likelihood,
be a second mortgage that would have to be paid off with the first mortgage
sure,
if
makes
they
sense.
sold within 5 years. So they're going to need to keep the loan for at least 5 years. But my gosh, that's a fantastic interest rate for someone basically getting in with no money out of their pockets to be able to own a home.
That's incredible.
And no reserve requirements either. So
Right.
they don't have to have any amount of money left over in their bank account after closing as well. So that's a big point there too.
There you go.
All right. We should be using the heck out of this. In fact, I know that Kara has sent out a flyer, but I think that this would be a great time to get some co-branded stuff with Mark or Kara and be putting it out on your social media, sending it to your clients. You have a zero down program.
Yeah.
Not only is zero down, but it's 3.5% gifted back to you after 5 years. That's incredible. This is really a good touch point with your SOI. Really
right,
good.
Tay. I sent over a flyer this morning for Maria to distribute to everyone. Actually, send it to both you and Maria. So hopefully you can send it out to everyone. Mike Daniels just asked, any unit or building type restrictions, condo, townhomes, and HOA fees? No, it just has to be an FHA approved condo, for example. Single family homes just have to be able to go FHA financing. That's it.
No duplex to fourplex.
Okay, there we go.
Awesome. Okay. I know we're going to be talking more about this and hit more on it soon. We've got to keep going. Kev, I don't think Kathleen is on, but Janet, anything super quick from Equity?
No, this is Kelly. Janet can join us, or Kev. Sorry, I'm in your hearing office. I just want to let you know I delivered some information in regards to our sister company, JLM, in regards to 1031, Susan Burns. She's a great resource. I've already seen 2 deals come in with 1031s, exchanging light property for light property. So I did drop off some brochures. I will send out her contact information to Nalani and Russ to get out to you. But she picks up the phone and she's just a great resource for you to have, because I think we might see a few more 1031s pop up. So that's all I have.
Awesome. Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of messages pop up that says that Tay's sound is messed up. Is it still messed up?
Yeah.
Really? Fantastic. Well, can you hear me though enough to send it on to the next person? Good, because I don't have to talk much from here. I'm going to hand it over to not to Susie quite yet. We still have got to talk about this situation. Nalani and Bill, what's going on?
So I'll start and then pass it over to Bill. This came to my attention. One of our agents had 2 transactions happening in the Hood Canal area, one representing seller, one representing buyer. In both instances, buyers had trouble getting flood insurance. They were told that FEMA had recategorized the area and they were getting quotes between $5,000 and $15,000 per year for flood insurance. In both transactions, this could have killed the deal. Luckily, on one of them, the insurance agent was able to say, FEMA allows you to assume flood insurance for up to 2 years. So they took that knowledge to the other side, and that insurance agent did not know this. And that actually had to go up their chain of command to some senior VP. Well, I do want to tell you, when I contacted Bill, he said, oh yeah, it's true. So he did know that. And on top of that, he actually ran a sample comparable and his numbers were significantly less. So one, I think we need to be really, really aware that this is happening out there. So if you are selling or you're helping a buyer purchase any sort of waterfront property, we need to be aware of it. There was a period of time insurance was a big deal, and then a period of time where it wasn't. I think we need to make it something that we're doing our due diligence on. And secondly, it was really brought to my attention that Bill is a really good resource for that second opinion or information. And he's got more, and I'm going to pass it over.
Yeah, that's interesting. I found this out several years ago, and I know we've talked about it on some of these calls in the past, but it is a good reminder because it's so relevant and just current with you, Nalani. that the flood insurance is like the only kind of policy that you can actually kind of grandfather or gift, so to speak, or transfer to another party. You know, if Tay has a better car rate than I have, I can't assume Tay's auto insurance. It just, I can't do that. But when there's a policy in place for flood, that is the easiest thing to do, because flood insurance can sometimes trip up the deal, and it can hold things up, and the lenders, it can blow up somebody's debt ratio. In fact, I'm working with Kara on that right now with a property down in Des Moines, which is right next to the Puget Sound. And it's interesting. Those rates seemed really high, Nalani, that they were quoted, because I just did a home out in Snoqualmie in the Valley, and the home is probably a mile at least from the Snoqualmie River, maybe 2 miles. But the lender, BECU, required flood insurance, and the guy's rate was $383 a year. And that's the other thing that's really nice. When we did his loan and his closing, I was able to just roll his flood insurance in at escrow, so it was all billed and paid at that time. So he didn't have to come up, he's got a second policy basically, but it's all bundled in together with his home and his auto all at the same time. So it's really nice and convenient for him. But, flood insurance does require a little extra legwork. I had to drive out. I had to take pictures of the home. A lot of those homes, they're built kind of not on stilts. Well, actually, his front door was up on stilts to get to his house. But they have these vents, and I have to measure the vents, and I have to count how many vents there are. So if there is a flood, the water that comes in, has the ability to kind of wash its way back out. So,
Bill, I'm sure I'm still gargling, but am I good enough that you can understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So.
I think the one big important thing here is that we have to be paying attention to this, and that while we are waiving financing and every contingency under the sun on properties, there's things like this that can come up where it could be a big insurance item that you weren't expecting. Bill's got good rates and he can help, but you may experience some issues there. So just a heads up on that. I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll just tell you just quickly to wrap that up. The house in Snoqualmie, the customer never told me about that he needed flood insurance until about a week before he was closing. And that's because he just found out from his lender. They weren't being proactive with him. It's usually the lender that makes that call. And so we had to scramble, for his closing.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to hand it over to Susie McGill and Morgan Patton. I'm going to also try to unplug my camera and microphone and plug it back in. So I'm going to walk away for just a minute and work on that. But Susie, can you tell me about you and Morgan, how you fit in our network, and show us what's going on? Do you have the ability to share?
That was my actual question. So let me see if I do this. And you guys can't see that, can you? No. So let me go. I'm more Zoom, well, not savvy in any of this stuff, but here we go. How about that? Can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay, you see the screen, everybody sees it. It says the value of your referral department. You can see it? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can see
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
We can see it.
Okay, because now I'm just looking at my screen. So as long as you can hear me and see what's on the screen, then we're good to go. You don't need to see my face. But I just will say, I'm Susie McGill, and Morgan Patton has joined me, and we're excited to just talk to you about the value of the referral department and how you can make easy money through outbound referrals. So I did put together an agenda. We're going to kind of work through this pretty quickly. It's pretty straightforward, but just want you to know who your referral contacts are. I want to share with you briefly just the power of the networks that we're part of and our relationships that are very, very, strong and solid, and that helps us as we're working your referrals. The benefits of utilizing the referral department to you in your business. What is the process to place those outbound referrals? And there is a link, and that's part of that process, to all the way through what happens when the check comes in the door. And then we're going to wrap up with just some common pitfalls that we see when agents are doing their own outbound placements. And then we'll finalize with some best practices and then open up to Q&A as we finalize. So here you go. This is what we look like. Morgan has joined us today, and Morgan and I both have been with the company 20 plus years in the referral relocation department, and we're housed out of the resource center in the central region. So we're with marketing and HR and accounting, and Jason's office is there when he's in town. So we are your go-to gals, your contacts for placing referrals. And you'll get a copy of this if you'd like, so you'll have it. And I believe your admin staff has our contact info as well. I did want to share with you just briefly, that extensive network, networks that we're part of. So we are part of the HS of A, which is Home Services of America. And as you know, there's over 45 companies, or approximately 45 companies that are owned. So we are like sisters and brothers, right? We're just immediate family members. And there's over 880 offices within this Home Services of America group, about 43,000 agents. So it's a pretty significant network, and it's not just BHHS. It's also other, Fox and Roach is in there, or Long and Foster. So some that are BHHS, some that are not, and Taro, and some other owned companies. So that's that one network that we do a lot of business with. In addition to that is our national network, the BHHS, and that is over, it's a global, and over 1,500 offices and over 70,000 some agents. So really, pretty strong networks. And sometimes, we have to go outside of the networks to place referrals. So we do work with our competitors. Really, it's about making sure we make the best placement possible based on what your client needs. And we definitely do, domestic and global placements. I wanted to share with you just how I guess fast and vast the franchise is growing globally. So here you can see a number of international locations that we now have actually BHHS present. This is fantastic. Now, I can tell you some countries may not pay referral fees. They may not even, accept a referral, a placement. However, the best thing for you to know is if your client has a need in any of these locales, if nothing else, we can at least get them connected to a good, reputable BHHS partner. Okay, so that's the key. International referrals often take longer to place, and like I said, sometimes they may not pay a fee. But I just wanted to share with you that the international BHHS network is really growing, and I wish I could be going to Mexico and looking for housing myself, or any of these other places. So there's that. So we're going to talk a little bit about benefits to you in working with the referral department on your referrals. There is no cost to you. It is really an added value benefit. And, I just heard that fantastic program, the new program that Prosperity is able to provide. So let's talk about what if you have a client that's moving. It sounds like there's no geographical constraints on this program, if I heard that right. So perhaps you have a buyer who wants to take advantage of that program and they're moving to California or Idaho or Montana, wherever. Why not, we'll get them connected with Prosperity Mortgage before they even, get to their new location or where they're going to start looking for a home. So we have that benefit of having the family of services within our organization. In the referral process, we really are your silent assistant. When it comes to outbound referrals, your client. We really are behind the scenes. So we're not contacting your client. We're really researching, we're placing the referral, handling the paperwork, the ongoing management of it. We're really behind the scenes, taking care of that for you so that you can focus on your other, more important real estate activities that are in your local markets. We do request for auto updates. We do this regularly. It's once a month. We get these updates and we share them with you. We can certainly request for them more often, but we do find just how fast time goes that's pretty commonplace. However, if we hear of a sale under contract, we're going to get the information and share it with you. If your client, because hopefully you're in good contact with your client and they're excited and they say, hey, guess what, Susie, we bought a house in Colorado through the agent you connected us to. Well, give us a heads up, and then if it's in between our update time, then we'll go ahead and get that request made. And then when the check comes in, because we're tracking it through the entire process of the life of the referral, that referral check comes into the brokerage, because all referrals are between brokerages, but we have it all in our system attached to you. So we provide accounting. Hey, this is Susie's check, and here's the information that you need to process it. And accounting then processes that. We're going to go a little bit deeper into that in a minute. Resolution management and the support of the company. When you work through the referral department, you know, you really have, we have your back, because we're involved from the very beginning. We work hard in trying to make the best placement. It really comes down to the more you know about your client, the more you can share when you place that referral, the better that success will be. But we will go to bat for you, and we'll do, you know, work hard for you to make sure. We've had very little issues come up with outbound placements, but again, it is, you know, a people business. So, you know, when things happen, we're going to be there to help you work through it. So what is the process? Super easy. We've streamlined it, and it is as simple as this link. Now, this link, we're going to talk about where you can find the link, but you can always get the link from Morgan or myself or your admin staff. They should have it in their SIG block, and I facilitate it, you know, ensure that that happens, because it's really just this link. Once you click on the link, and I'm going to show you the next slide, and it's going to show you what comes up. It's really just the form field. So this is really going to be the most efficient, quickest way for you to get us the referral information we need to place. And I said already, the more information you know, the better. And obviously there are certain, if it's a listing referral, we will need to know the property address in order to place that. But if you have a specific broker, you want to get that referral, we can provide that referral to them. We just need to know, obviously, their contact information. This slide right here just gives you an example. It's kind of a, it really is a one-pager. It's kind of like a legal size, but it's just a form field. So when you click on that link, this is what will open up. And from here, you just go in and just fill in your information. It really literally takes less than 2 minutes. It's very efficient, much better than back in the day. We have you fill out a form and, you know, scan it and send it. So what happens is once you fill out the information, you'll hit that submit button down there in the bottom. What happens is it comes immediately directly into our database. So it's really efficient. And I just want to point out a couple things on this form. See the box up there on the right-hand top corner, it says additional information. That's where you can share some, you know, first-time home buyer, or this is my cousin Vinny, and, you know, he's going to need extra hand-holding, whatever it is that you think would be helpful for us to know as we place this for you, this referral. But the best part is you're going to be interviewing the agent that is assigned the referral, so you can feel good about that placement. So where do you get that link? I kind of talked about, you can get it from the admin staff, you can get it from myself or Morgan. You can also get it from the intranet site, my office. You got to, you know, follow the little protocol that I put there on that little, you know, setup. So to me, I want it to be as easy as possible for you all to get it. So I really prefer that all admin staff throughout our organization have it on their SIG line, and it's just that link that says click here to send your outbound referral. That would be the easiest way. But just so you know, it's super easy to find on the internet, just a couple little steps you got to follow, or you can get it from any of us. Just to note, oh, go ahead. I hear somebody? No.
I think it was just a sneeze.
Oh, okay. Bless you. The industry standard broker-to-broker referral fee is 25% on the referred side. Now, I'd say 99% of the time, that's how these go down. There could be a situation where perhaps that client of yours is looking to purchase a below 100,000 type of property. It might be something where the acceptance of the referral, they may want to negotiate on that fee. Just so you know, we would never accept anything on your behalf until we talk to you and said, you know, we'd reach out to you and say, hey, Susie, here's a situation with this client. Would you be willing to take a 20% referral fee? But just so you know, 95 to 98% or more percent of the time, that is industry standard for broker-to-broker referrals. And then I already mentioned that minimum information that's required. So that we already kind of covered. And you do get an email confirmation from our system that tells you that we placed the referral. Now, what that means is we've put the referral in motion. So the next step will be that you'll get the call from the assigned agent to talk about your client's needs. But you do get a little email that comes right out of our system. So we always let you know that, because that way you just know we're on it. And how is that referral paid out? This is what everybody wants to know, and it's pretty easy and simple. So basically, we're tracking that referral through the life of it. So when that referral check comes in, is we're going to know it's pending. We're going to share that with you, and we're going to, the check comes in, we're going to submit it to accounting, and then it's commission dollars, so that franchise fee is deducted. Then you're going to be paid at your current split with your branch at the time accounting processes that referral check. So that is just, accounting already knows what your plan is with your branch, so they automatically do all that. But what we do is we hand the check over with your name on it to accounting to say, hey, this is Susie's check, here you go. That's how that works. So pretty straightforward. And there's no, hidden fees, no markup fees. It's the 25% comes in the door and it goes to accounting. And then other than that franchise fee, then you're paid at your split. So this is kind of the fun slide, probably my favorite slide. It just kind of can show you how outbound referral fees can add up. The average referral fee that we see in the door is about $2,500. Okay, think about that. But let's look at a couple examples. So this is just last year we had one agent, one of your fellow brokers up there in the North region. They placed 3 outbound referrals last year. Of the 3 that they placed, 2 of them closed. And the total referral checks came in over $6,000. So above the average, right? This is even more exciting. This is another prior year. Central agent here in our region placed 8 in 2019. Out of the 8, 7 of them closed. So the total of those 7 referral checks were over $18,000. That's income. That's money that, we know how, in this business, but these are outbound referrals. So it really is a great way to make some easy money in real estate. And it's true. I believe the more you place, the more you close. So that just gives you kind of an idea of that, how that plays out and how it can add up. So we're going to wrap up here, get to some Q&A, but I did want to just, I need to go back, my bad. Just some common pitfalls. So over the years, Morgan and I have just seen some things, and we just want to share those with you because we want to make this easy for you. But we definitely have seen some, will basically just refer a client out, but they don't have any kind of formal agreement. So it could be challenging if that other agent didn't want to honor what you agreed to verbally. We've also seen this quite often. Internal worksheets have been turned into referral agreements, but there's no terms on them. And so they really wouldn't stand up anywhere. So that's kind of concerning. So we prefer that we don't do that. And really it just takes away, your opportunity to really focus on your local market and your activities. That's why the referral department exists, is really to help you in your business since we have these networks and we have these great relationships, we'll do all that legwork for you. And then, it's challenging to follow up with these outbound referrals that you have because you're focused on your other activities. So we've seen agents where they place it, but then they don't follow up and then they're looking for support to help them claw it in, so it's just not really the best way to proceed there. And then, of course, this is something that, we do this daily. So when a check comes in and we don't know whose check it is because it didn't go through the referral department, a lot of times there's nothing with it other than the check. We don't even know the agent. There's no agent name on it. So we have to go and track that down. So we have to make phone calls to title companies, to brokers, get on realtor.com and look up the address and find out who the broker was on each end. And so, that takes time, as you can understand. So all the more benefit, because we don't want you to delay getting a check, right? So it's just, there's a lot of benefit of running it through. And then that, the relationship of the network, we definitely work with other, networks besides our own, but for the most part, when we work through our network, you're going to have a lot more support and, just that stronger relationship. So best practices, real quick, we're winding down. I think I'm in 5 more minutes or so, but we're going to have time for some Q&A. So best practices, obviously we just talked about it, supporting the networks that we're part of. We have great relationships and we do a lot of business together. It's always important, obviously, you need to have the client's approval to be referred. And then that outbound link, I think it's just the quickest and easiest way to go. Morgan and I, we have pretty active days like you all do too. So we do find that link is really the most efficient way. We can try to make a phone call to you, but for us, we're not going to take down all the information over the phone. It's just more efficient in today's world with technology. So that's why we love that link. And, it is important to stay in touch with your clients. Plans can change. We've seen it happen where they're going to, Boise, Idaho, and next thing you know, they changed their plans and now they want to go to Caldwell or, another location. So we can go in and we can cancel out that one and get them re-referred to the other location. So it's always good, since you have that relationship, you want to make sure your clients are happy throughout this whole process. And then speaking with the assigned agent first, I know this is really important, and this is our best practice. We want you to have that conversation so you can feel good about that, because you can come back to us and say, this isn't feeling good for me. I don't think it's the right fit. And we'll ask for a different agent, to be assigned. So we actually have not had to do that, knock on wood right now, please, everybody. But, if it happens, we would be able to do that. And we already mentioned about how international referrals are a little bit different, just depending on the locale. So, but we're happy to work those for you. So there you go. I'm at the Q&A time. I'm going to open it up to questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Am I sounding normal again, or am I still a mess?
You sound good.
Oh, good. Perfect. Yeah. Does anybody have questions for Susie on RELO and how the process works, or anything on those lines?
Okay, I've got a question.
Sure, Bruce.
You mentioned the outbound link. Is that something that could go on our signature block that our clients could access, and then we would somehow get credit for it? Or is that just on our staff members' signed blocks?
Great. Yeah, great question. And no, that is an internal process that we have. So we would never want the clients to be filling out forms for us.
Right.
Yes, but what you would do, just like I always encourage folks when they're going on a listing appointment to ask, well, why are you selling your home? And, oh, we're moving away. And then, you keep asking further questions. The next thing you know, you get the opportunity to help them where they're going to. And from there, you collect that information. You as the agent would be the ones filling out that client form that link.
All right. Thank you.
You bet.
As other people, if anybody's thinking of other questions, just a mention. I put in the comments here the link for that sheet to fill out. So you can click on the link that I put in the comments. That'll open up a browser for you to that page, and you can bookmark it so that you have an easy access also right from there. So kind of an advantage to being here this morning. You can just get that real quick and easy, and you don't have to go find it somewhere. Any other questions for Susie on this? Going once, going twice. I will mention just two quick things. One is that one of my earlier years in the business, I've been 20 years with Prudential and then Berkshire Hathaway, and we've always had this service, and it has been phenomenal. I have a plaque for having the most outgoing referrals one year, and I just want to share that because those outgoing referrals were extremely simple. They're still extremely simple. And I think that we sometimes forget that we have this value and how to maybe use it. So the way that I got, I think I had like 8 or 9 of them in 1 year. And the way that happened was just in open houses. If somebody told me, hey, no, we're not, looking to buy right now, or we're thinking about moving out of town, I'd say, hey, would you like me to connect you with a top agent in that area, wherever it is that they were going? And I would get all kinds of, contact information, and I would never talk to them again. I would just simply type them in. At the time, we'd fill out a sheet and hand it over or whatever, but I would let RELO handle the whole thing. And then a few months later, I'd find a check from somebody whose name I didn't even know because I met them for like 2 minutes in an open house. There are so many opportunities to take advantage of this. I was talking to somebody that I know that works for a different brand, and they were trying to do a RELO thing. And I said, well, you don't have a relocation department? It's a national company. Like, how can they not? And the answer was no. So their agents had to go out and find their own stuff and then track it themselves and then make sure that they got paid themselves and all of those things. I think sometimes we try to make this too difficult. Really, truly, we have a great resource to just be able to, hey, if we have somebody that's going out of area, we can hand it over to them and we can put in the comments, hey, I would like to interview a couple of the agents that you choose, or that, top agents in that area. Can you put me in contact with them? We rely on each other, and that's great, but we have a really great resource. And I just, and again, there's zero cost to us as brokers. Absolutely not a penny comes out of your pocket to do all of this work. So anyway, Susie and Morgan, thank you so much for jumping on and sharing that. I just felt like it was a good time to get kind of reacquainted with how this works, the process, and how simple that it really is, and then reevaluate how can we actually build this into our business plan. Is there even marketing that we can do? Hey, are you moving out of town? I can help. I can connect you with an agent. Right? Having that as part of our value proposition is so valuable because it is just such a simple process, and it's real money. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not $50, $100 here or there. It's thousands of dollars for really just handing everything over and letting somebody else take care of your clients in a good, positive way, because we're bringing them together with top agents in the country and around the world. So thank you again, Susie. Really appreciate it. Oh, quick question. Yeah, no, Bruce, you got another question?
I've got a friend who's managing their father's house in Connecticut, I think, on a rental basis. Are there property managers in an area like that that we might be able to send a referral to for a rental?
So what we would do with that is we would need to reach out to, you know, our local partnering broker and inquire as to if they have, because, you know, I don't have a network of property management companies. So what we would do is we'd go to that local broker resource and ask them, hey, how, you know, to see if that would work. I imagine if they're already under contract, probably not an option for you. But if there's a, you know, change out or something, maybe there is. I don't know if not all property management companies probably provide fees. I don't know, but we would look into it for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome.
You bet. Yeah.
Good.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the time. Morgan, do you have anything you'd like to add? You're so quiet today.
Yes. Keep me quiet over here. No, I just love working with you guys, and I look forward to seeing your referrals come in.
That's right.
It's nice to see the people on the other side and get the chance to hear from you guys. So thank you so much for jumping on.
Thanks for having us, you guys. You guys take care.
All right. With that, I'm going to end the meeting. I'm going to stop the recording, but we will do a new and price reduced. I know we haven't done that in a little bit, so let's do that.